what is really going on in the market? We have the Ukraine crisis with Russia and America and Europe, and then we have the RBN said that is going to raise interest rates, and then we have the stock market falling, we have dollar rising, and what is going to happen this week? I will try to make some sense of it in this video. First of all, we have the stock market, S&P 500 in particular. I bought back up here, and I got stopped out. Okay, cool. Now, what we're going to do now is wait for this one to return higher. I think we are going to return higher. If that's going to be today, tomorrow, or next week, I do not know. But what I do know is I have very specific rules as of what should happen. We should have some kind of bottom, some kind of top, and when we have a top again and a pullback again, I'm ready to go higher. That was last week, so it will take a couple of days until I will see this one going higher. I do not see that increase of interest rate in America is a risk to the downside. It is a risk to the upside longer term. Going into Nasdaq, same thing. We shall in the end go higher. We have currently made a lower low. How far can this one go? Well, if we break 13,800, I think we have some moves to go, but still, this is a stock market. They make support, they make price stopping wherever they want it, and then we go back up again. So, not really at all worried. Going into dollar, we have a bit of a high on Friday. So on Friday there was reports of attacks, of explosions, people leaving, people are flying. Now, the latest I saw on Twitter is that Macron and Putin has talked, and that they have agreed to literal whatever that word is, talks between Ukraine, Russia, and OSCE, which is one of the peacemakers back in 2014 when Russia went into Crimea. And then we shall see if there's going to be any easing. That looks like an easing statement more than anything else, but I really need to see it on the charts. So by Friday we would have bought dollar, we would have bought nat gas, bought oil, bought gold. That is kind of the Friday feel. What happened last week was around 9 a.m. Monday morning my time. We had Lavrov, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Russia, said that, well, we're gonna take our troops home, and then the market reversed back down again. So, back up again. Dollar went down again. That can happen again this week. So be very alert as to what is happening in the news. By all means. So, any aggression that Biden has said for a week now that they see, and a Russian attack is immediate any moment. That is by far American rhetoric. I don't believe it until I see it, and it's so used now. So if you see any news that it is imminent, they're going to Russia is blah blah blah, but rhetoric. If Russia doesn't do it, hasn't done it yet, well, we have not been waiting for quite some time for them to do it. So if they haven't done it, well, they haven't done it. We can't do anything about it. So dollar is, in my eyes, temporarily, because of that risk, higher. But any change as of past this video, with that can change and go to the downside. What I'm going to say to you is, I think it's going to go higher. I will trade it after this goes higher, but I will be very fast to change my positions if it disagrees. If all of a sudden this Ukraine thing changes. Going into New Zealand this week, okay? We have RMBZ on Tuesday, rate hike decision. Market has priced in a 25 basis point rate hike. That is from 0.75 to 1%. Okay? The market has already priced in that, as you can see here. So, it went higher. But we also saw on pound when they raised hikes a couple of weeks ago. That is the week before. That is the news. And pound died. So what is really happening here is the forward guidance. What are we thinking about the future? Okay, what does the New Zealand Central Bank think about the future? That is what you need to look forward to. And And for pound, it wasn't so great. It wasn't any new rate hikes. It wasn't like fantastic. So if that also happens again on New Zealand, I do not know, but you need to really be careful, sort of have open eyes as to what they're saying, what does the market believe in, and if they say there's going to be an increase of interest rates more than the market has priced in already, which is six rate hikes already, we're going to go higher. But if they confirm there's going to be 6 rate hikes or not as much as, New Zealand isn't going to be as strong. So I don't believe strong New Zealand next week, but I'm not going to bet against it, kind of a thing. So I'm going to leave New Zealand dollar out of it until that meeting has happened. And then we might see repricing lower if there is any disappointment, because the market has priced in pretty high expectations. So any disappointments are, most likely. But if this goes higher, then it goes higher. It is what it is. EURUSD coming in this week comes up to some kind of resistance, not as much as I wanted, so I didn't sell it. Well, I sold it here, got stopped out, I'd somehow break even, and I haven't really got my low until Friday. And I believe for next week that we are able to get higher. But as James Bond, it's only going to be a way. It's going to be my way. So I expect it to go a bit higher, probably back up to 1360 and then lower. Let's put on some other helps out there. That is for day trading. Yep. Not day trading. We're going to swing trade. See? 1360 going all the way down to 1247. We'll still have a target of 110, so just have that in your mind that we might go down there in the end. Right now isn't looking too great, but it might happen. And also remember that we're coming into March soon, so market might go higher before we go lower in March again. So, have that in mind. Take 1 week or 1 day by day. That's kind of the biggest tip I have for next week. Take 1 day and see, where are we? Are we still bearish? Are we bullish? And by all means, this is a very good support for buyers next week. Okay? It's a very good buyer's support. So if you're a buyer of euro, you might think about it. But that's the only thing I'm going to say about that. I don't know why I did that. Aussie is probably the currency I think should go lower tomorrow. No, next week. Down to 70.50. And prices such as 72 should pretty hold. With the New Zealand interest rate decision next week, I don't think that is evidently going to make Aussie more stronger than it already is. And I would say, that's a lower low. So I will take it any days. So am I going to sell the open? Probably. So we shall see how that goes. But that's only my personal opinion there. Pound has, since the BOE interest rate has been very range bound ever since. The market has been a bit bullish last week. I was like, maybe I should have bought it, blah, 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 blah. And where are we now? Well, it all comes down to where are we now? We are right now in a range so far. We're still pretty high in the range at the moment. And we can, by all means, break, but, downside is kind of, a fear that I have. But I'm bullish pound. I'm actually bullish pound, but so far it's all short-term dollar strength more than. So if this one now turns higher next week and we come down to like 135.35 and you're thinking, well, hey girl, hey, I think that's a good price. Yes, I do believe you and I do agree with you. But that's not my plan. But that's a very good plan, by the way. So I'm thinking downside, I'm thinking, well, let's go back to 134.50 and then boom. Yeah, good. So New Zealand, Euro New Zealand. I think that Euro New Zealand has its ways of going lower next week. Well, we have fallen pretty hard, and I would say, well, if we go up to 169.78 is a good level to sell. But it all depends on what the RB and Z says next week. And the New Zealander and the Kiwis says next week. I think that New Zealand can continue the strength. can continue to strength, and this will then fall. But it's all about the future. So, and the reversal here, you need a full reversal, and you can probably buy here if it goes back up again, and then there. But that's all. That's totally up to you. Pound yen has been requested for quite so many times in my live streams. Hashtag tomorrow at New York Open. Is that we are in a bit of a range. There is your clear sell as the seller's sell has come in. That candle there. Okay. Then there's sellers in the market. By all means. And also I want to just clarify that Denise and Tez is my top donors this week. I love you guys. Just want to mention and appreciate everyone that does that once in a while. It doesn't happen often, so I do appreciate it very, very, very much. And it made my day. So, pound yen. Downside? Really? Yeah, it is. Downside, really, because it is the risk from the Russia-Ukraine area. And if you go into ING report for this coming week, they say that dollar should be mildly bullish, and this is mostly due to the geopolitical risk in Ukraine, and it was really strong on Friday, and this is written before Friday, by the way. I think this is written on Thursday. So this was Friday evening, so this has happened ever since this report was even made, and the downside is limited as dollar is turning into the safe haven we all want to fly to. So yen is also a beneficiary there. So other than that, I think it's cool. Going into dollar and Fed, we have a meeting 16th to 16th of March. That is a good 3 weeks from now. So start thinking about Fed seasonality when you're trading. There we go too. Going into the Forex Live as well, I just want to mention a couple of things that I see. That is, I don't like at all. Biden, US has reason to think Putin has already made this decision. I think this is, Adam. I think this is not worthy to write about anymore because this has been for a full week. Like, Biden has said that. Why are we giving Biden so much room to say that every day? All the time. Nothing has changed. Maybe they know something we don't know, but Americans are only guessing at this point because it hasn't happened. I even say there was going to be a day that it happened and it never happened. So I think that America and Biden has outplayed his own role as the news burden until we actually see movements on the ground. Okay? That is what we need to look out for. Nothing else than that. If you're looking for more kind of summaries of the day, some of the week, go to the Forex Live market wrap-ups for every session, and you can then instead going through what really has happened in those sessions, so you get an update of what is really happening, make up your summary, and move on. And another one that's also good with that is also Saxo Bank, which is also a broker, but also a bank. So they talk about Nasdaq and talk about EURUSD, Aussie USD, and so that's kind of how you would keep yourself updated as well as the normal flow of information. So pound yen, what did I say? Pound yen. I said USD CAD. I think that USD CAD is still in a range. So there was no trades. I'm sorry, mate. I think it's gonna go higher. But I think it's gonna go higher. But I have no evidence of it's technically going higher. So at this moment, I can't do it. Going into oil, we have fallen, but it rose on Friday. So that is mostly because of the Russia or the Ukraine explosions and stuff on Friday. Are we going to continue higher? I think this one is going to be more and more volatile. So you need to really hold your levels correctly, and if it breaks, get out. If you continues higher, okay, cool. But remember, this time as well, at the moment, as you can see by the movements comparison for a couple of weeks ago, where we have ranges. So this range, for example, here was only 3%. Right now we are ranging like 6%. So there's more movements up and down. So you might be wondering what is going on, what will happen next. I have generally a bullish outlook for it, but I definitely see that whenever we have more positive news coming out of Ukraine, this one loses altitude and falls. Okay? But it also depends on the CPI in America. It also depends on the CPI in Europe, which all of them are growing. The only question is, when does it stop growing? And I also, seasonality-wise, we're supposed to peak in around March, and we're coming into March, so we shall see. But take day by day, day trade it, New York Open. That is kind of more what I would do, like do the volatility in New York Open and see how that goes, and then by all means be on demo. Netgas, another one that is definitely being run by Russia. I bought Friday here, thinking there will be a gap on Friday. So gap today by Friday. Now I'm not so confident in the trade. I have of course a stop loss, but I think we should go back up to at least 4.8 yet again, and then see if that is going to be breached. So right now I am in profit as of Friday, but we shall see on today's break, higher, lower, whatever that is. Okay, cool. Gold going higher against what I believed during this week, and I absolutely think that this 1900 was the level to go for. So there is your support, there is your support, and there is your support. So how do you trade gold next week? Okay. As long as you have a higher high and higher low, as long as you scalp, as long as you don't risk your account, as long as you lose your account, you can trade these assets if you lose your account. But if you take gold, and you buy the certain levels that has support previously been proven, though past performance is not indicative of future results, that is the only way to go higher. It has breached all targets. It's supposed to be taking profit. It's supposed to go down. But if it goes up because of the risk in Ukraine, have fun with it. That is totally your decision. Don't come cry to me, because I said you shouldn't. But okay, I've given you a trade plan there at least. USD yen is in a range and is really struggling. And I think that this one should definitely fall, but I've been proven wrong. And we were right for a couple of days, and then we were not right or not wrong. Coming down to support, I would say this might go higher. But my view here, that is technically my more fundamental view is that yen should be strong. So any break lower of this support should make us continue falling. Let's see if this week also makes that happen. I will definitely jump over CAD yen by all means, and if I sell down here and I make like a long position, short position, probably. If I make this trade here, I will probably put my stop loss above here, probably up to like 75, probably 75. That is up there. Yeah, it's not the best trade in the world that I've ever taken, but it's definitely D trade. And then back down to 81.65, or even better, if you take the weekly profit target, going down to 81.18. I love that one. So other than that, yeah, I just need a lower low. That's all. Euro yen, another one that is definitely falling this week. It's pretty straightforward trade plan here. Going up to M3, going down to M1, 131 flat down to 129.15. Bada bing, bada boom. Straightforward, nothing else. How do I trade that? I trade it by limit orders. By putting on limit orders, one market open, and I'll leave them there, and then I put my stop loss above here, which is around 50 pips above, and I go and do whatever I want to do. Okay, cool. New Zealand yen, don't want to touch it. USD yen, still in the range I talked about in the lives this week, hasn't come down to 114.50, so until then, go and watch my stream tomorrow at A1 Trading and Market Open and New York Open tomorrow. So Have a good day. Boom.